Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to Life on the Wrist. Hope you guys are having a good week. I hope 2020 started off well for you guys. It definitely started off well for me. Today we're going to be continuing one of our series that I've had a lot of fun doing, and that is places to travel for watches. In our previous, I think, 2 episodes, we covered Glashütte, which is obviously a place where brands like Allanger and Söhne and Glashütte Original come from. We also covered Geneva, which is basically the motherland of watches. And today we are going to be discussing Schaffhausen. We're going back to Switzerland, and we're going to be discussing about a very great place to travel, not only for the beauty of its city, but also for the beautiful watches that come out of that city. So that's going to be the topic for today. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Also, before we get into that, make sure you smash that like button for us. You guys have been showing great support for the channel. Let's see if we can get to 20 likes. It really does help us out. And with that said, let's get into the video. So Schaffhausen is going to be the place where you're going to discuss where you can travel and really experience watches during your travel. So Schaffhausen is actually located in the northern part of Switzerland. The city of Schaffhausen is located in the Canton of Schaffhausen. Yes, it is the same name, so it makes it very, very simple. The population of Schaffhausen is approximately 40,000 people, so it's a relatively small Swiss city. And it's located by the northern part of the Rhine. It's one of the very few cities that actually in Switzerland that are located by the northern part of the Rhine. One of the main draws for the tourist side of things is the Altstadt, which in translation in German means old city or old town. And one of the reasons why it's such a draw for tourists is because it has absolutely amazing buildings that come from the Renaissance era of that area in the world. So it has a lot of very beautiful Renaissance inspired buildings that really have aged really nicely. You know, they weren't destroyed with World War II. They really were kept really nicely, and Schaffhausen is obviously kind of protecting them because it is such a main draw. It really is a sight to be seen. If you haven't seen pictures of it or haven't been to Schaffhausen, be sure to look it up because it really is beautiful. The major industries that kind of make up the economy of Schaffhausen are pharmaceutical companies. Also, the company called Garmin is located there, and then obviously watchmaking, and namely within watchmaking is the company IWC, or International Watch Company. This is a watch company that was founded by Florentine Jones in 1868. A lot of people don't know this, but Florentine Jones was actually an American who founded the company. Right now, IWC is a subsidiary of the Richemont Group, I think since the year 2000. So it is part of one of the larger watch conglomerates, but that's besides the point. So along with seeing the absolutely beautiful buildings that are in Schaffhausen and kind of experiencing the history of the city, which is not really the main focus of this video, you can obviously do a lot, you can learn a lot about the company IWC. IWC is obviously known for producing pilots or aviation inspired watches, and they're actually one of the only well-known Swiss watch companies that's located in the eastern side of Switzerland. The majority of them are located in the west, towards Geneva, Neuchâtel, that kind of region. So IWC is actually one of the only companies, or only well-known Swiss companies. I'm sure there's going to be someone in the comments who will mention a company that is in the eastern part of Switzerland, but this is one of the only this is one of the well-known Swiss watch companies that is located in the east of Switzerland. So not only is the Rhine an absolutely beautiful thing that you can see there, you can also kind of you also be able to experience the fact that it is in the eastern part of Switzerland, which is very different to the western part. So so as I said, along with visiting visiting the Altstadt, seeing their cathedrals and beautiful Renaissance inspired buildings or Renaissance era buildings, there's a lot of things that one can do when it comes to experiencing IWC. One can go to the IWC Museum, which is located right next to the Rhine River, which is actually a beautiful view. And it's in the central part of Schaffhausen. There's actually over 200 items in that museum that kind of outline the history of IWC. So it's an incredible way that you can kind of see the history of IWC, experience it, see the development of where the company went. some people have criticized it for being a little bit too marketing focused, trying to get people to buy IWC watches. But regardless, I think it's a way that you can experience IWC's history. At the end of the day, these are companies, they have to sell watches. I would say that every watch museum is really just a marketing play, but I do definitely think that it's worth going and seeing, because it has a lot of historical pieces that you'll be able to see. I believe one of the first watches that bore the name IWC is actually in this museum, so a great way to see that. So I definitely go to the IWC museum first. There's also the IWC boutique, which will allow you to really see their modern lines, and I think it's a much cooler boutique to go to as opposed to other IWC boutiques. You'll be able to obviously see their modern line, but also the watches that are in that boutique, they came from just down the street. So it's kind of a cool thing to see. Also, you probably have some of the most knowledgeable individuals working at that boutique. So if you do have deeper questions about IWC that weren't answered at the museum, the boutique is a great place to go. Also, being that you're kind of seeing the historical parts of IWC in the museum, this allows you to see their modern line. You can see how the transition from their older pieces came into their modern pieces, and really get a holistic view of what IWC is capable of making. So I think your second stop should definitely be visiting the boutique. This could actually be one of your, you could probably make it one of your later ones, but that's besides the point. So go to the IWC museum, visit the boutique, but then go into the Manufakturzentrum, which is about 10 minutes away from the city of Schaffhausen, the central area of Schaffhausen. And this Manufakturzentrum, which is manufacturer, actually opened mid-2018, so it's a relatively new building, relatively new operating space for IWC. And you'll be able to take a tour of their factory, see how these pieces are created, put together. I think they also have a business center here, so there might be some information that you can gather on their business if that's kind of the thing that you're kind of interested in. But also you can kind of see how all these watches come to life. Like I said, I think it's really cool that you'll be able to see their past in the IWC museum, and then obviously what they have right now in their boutiques. And I think going to the Manufakturzentrum allows you to see the time and energy that's taken into producing IWC watches. IWC is an extremely well-respected company because it does harp on the fact that it focuses on traditional watchmaking. A lot of time and energy is put into creating these pieces, especially the components that go into them. And being able to do a tour of the IWC factory will allow you to kind of understand that, appreciate it, and then perhaps if you do own an IWC watch or are looking to purchase one, that piece will mean a little bit more because you've seen the work that goes into creating one of them. It's only 10 minutes away from the city. What's really great about traveling in Switzerland is the fact that everything is relatively close by. So you won't have to travel very far distances in order to see all three of these things. I know it seems like we picked a city that kind of just has one watchmaker. However, I think IWC deserves this type of time and energy just for you to go and experience this brand, because I do believe it's one of the best Swiss watch companies ever produced. I know John Mayer is a huge proponent of the Big Pilot. I've created a video on this. I think his collection really skyrocketed the interest in watch collecting and watches, and people started talking about them a little more openly. And really, one of his most iconic pieces is his Big Pilot because he wore it so consistently. So I think IWC deserves a little bit more recognition, and that's why I wanted to create this video about Schaffhausen and focus on IWC. So just to recap, Schaffhausen, located in Switzerland, on the northern part of Switzerland on the Rhine. I think you should definitely go and visit the IWC museum, visit the IWC boutique that's located in Schaffhausen, and then go to the Manufakturzentrum and be able to see these watches come to life and put together, and talk to the watchmakers that are really involved in the process. So I hope you enjoyed this little video about places to travel. This episode was on Schaffhausen. I said in the beginning of the video, but we also have episodes on Glashütte and Geneva. So if you are interested in checking those out, be sure to check those videos out but they're probably going to be in the side panel for suggested videos, so check those out. I think what we're going to end up doing is doing a road trip to all these places. I think that would be pretty cool. Just go to every single one of the places that I mentioned in places to travel for watches, so that would be very cool. If you have a city that you would like me to cover in our next places to travel for watches, be sure to put that in the comment section below. Also, if you've made it this far and you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button as well as subscribe to our channel. And with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time.